And when we first covered this case at the beginning of 2024, we took a deep dive into the interrogation footage and also into Derek's very eerie 911 call. But since then, there have been some major developments. It seems like the case has finally reached a resolution, though honestly, it's only raised more questions, with some people now even wondering whether Derek might actually be innocent in all of this after all. There is a lot to unpack here. So today, we are officially reopening this case. Now, as a quick reminder, in these reopened episodes, we revisit our original deep dive, and then we drop in all of the updates along the way, some new thoughts, new opinions of mine that have changed since the first recording. So you will maybe notice some differences in the audio because our audio equipment has changed over time, but the goal is to always bring you the complete story with a fresh new lens. So that's what we're doing today. So with all of that said, we are going to reopen Derek Rosa's case. Let's get into it, and brace yourself, guys, because this is a wild one. I'm Annie Elise, this is 10 to Life, and let's jump right in. On October 12th, 2023, just before midnight, dispatchers in Hialeah, Florida received a truly bone-chilling 911 call. The caller was reporting that 39-year-old mother, Irina Garcia, a mother of two, I might add, had been stabbed to death while sleeping. And she wasn't alone while she was sleeping right next to her 2-week-old daughter. Now, it's hard to say, honestly, which is crazier, that this alleged murderer was Irina's 13-year-old son, or the fact that he was the one calling to report his own crime. The audio from that 911 call is pretty chaotic at times, I'm going to be honest with you, and it can be a little bit difficult to make it out. So if you're listening to the audio version of this episode and you want to follow along with the captions, definitely go and click on the YouTube version as well, because we do have it on screen with the captions.
I speak English. How can I help you?
Can you bring the police over here where I live?
What is your address?
I don't know my address.
Are you by yourself with your mom?
Yeah, no, my baby sister's here, so she's sleeping.
Did you kill your mom? Okay, where is the knife right now?
I put it, let me check. Wait. I put it on the floor inside of the... Wait, no, where is it? I can't find the knife.
You cut her neck? Okay. Where else did you stab her other than that cutting her neck?
Based on his tone and even his word choice, from the way that Derek always said ma'am, for example, you would almost think that he didn't understand what he had done. Like he was in shock or dealing with some kind of mental disconnect. I don't know. But obviously, Derek did know that this was an emergency situation. He wouldn't have called 911 otherwise. And I do think it's interesting that Derek wasn't quite together the entire time during this 10-minute call. Sometimes he almost seemed a little bit rattled. He couldn't remember his home address, and again, I don't know if that's necessarily indicative of him being super shaken or if there was something going on with him. But then, after the 911 operator asked where he was, it took Derek over 4 minutes to come up with an answer. I honestly don't know what to make of all of that, because we're talking about a 13-year-old here, which yes, it is very young to be stabbing somebody to death, but not so young that he wouldn't know his own address, or that he would be unable to read it off of a piece of paper or a piece of mail that was in the house. So again, it makes you wonder, did Derek forget his address in the moment because he was dealing with shock after his mom's murder? Or did this mental disconnect kick in before he committed the murder? Was it part of what pushed him to commit this brutal crime? What's really going on here? I do think that it's safe to assume that Derek was particularly on edge, given some of the things that happened in other parts of this call.